The best kind of recipes are the ones that make you look like you spent forever in the kitchen when you really didn't. This is a perfect example. These are jelly cookies. They're perfect for a holiday table. What I have is 2 sticks of butter, okay, room temperature. You want everything to sit out and be nice and soft. And then I've got my brown sugar, and I have some white granulated sugar. And what we're going to do is we're going to cream these together. And we don't want to go too fast. We just want to get this up and moving. And then we'll let the mixer do the work. And we'll come back in a minute. I'll show you how light and fluffy it's supposed to be. Okay, so after a few minutes, this is exactly what I'm looking for. I'm just going to turn it down. And I want to give it a real quick scrape. But you can see how it's very, very light and very aerated. That's the whole basis for that nice creamy mouthfeel we're going to get from this cookie. You know, you're essentially making a sugar cookie here. I'm going to put it back up. And turn it on. And this is where it starts to move pretty fast. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add my vanilla extract. And then I've just got 1 egg that I'm going to go ahead and crack very carefully in there. And I just want to make sure that that gets completely mixed together as well. And same as before, I just want to, before I add the next ingredients, give this a quick scrape. Just going around the outside, making sure that everything's completely mixed. Okay, and now that the egg and the vanilla are in there, what I have here is I have all-purpose flour, I have baking soda, and I have cream of tartar. And I've just sifted them together in this bowl. And now all of that just going to go right in, all in one shot. The key here is not to mix it too much. So I'm just going to bring it up, turn it on, just until the dough comes together. Anytime you're baking and using a tabletop mixer like this and you've added your dry ingredients, make sure you go very, very slow with the speed at first. Otherwise, you're going to wind up with flour all over your kitchen. So you just want to tread lightly. And this is a fine speed for this. Okay, and there we are. See, it's just come together. It's okay that there's a little bit of flour left in there because we're going to go ahead and incorporate all of that. I'm just going to take this off. Okay, and what I like to do is I like to get down on a cutting board, or you could even do a floured surface if you want. I don't think you need the flour. Okay, the idea here is we just want to scrape all of the dough off of this paddle. You see we've got a nice soft dough. There's a fair amount of butter in this dough, and that helps it taste good. So I've got wax paper here. So you take about half the dough. Doesn't have to be an exact science. And I just want to make a nice little bundle with this. Again, you don't have to get fancy. What I like to do is just sort of flatten it out. You know, you can make a disc, you can make a square. You don't have to worry. I just like to get it a nice even thickness. And then just wrap it up. And then we're going to go right into the refrigerator and let it chill for at least 3 hours. So I'm going to go into the refrigerator. Okay, so this is dough that we made earlier, and it's had at least 3 hours in the cooler, so it's cool to the touch. Okay, so I've got it on a floured board, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take a little more flour and put it on top. You know, how much flour? It's really about feel and what you're comfortable with. Obviously, you don't want to be adding a ton of flour, just enough so it's comfortable to roll out. And I just like to manipulate it with my hands before I start rolling and turn it into a rectangle, okay, just to sort of help the shaping. The idea here is we want to get as many cookies out. We're going to cut them out, so we want a nice surface to work with. I'm going to hit it with a little more flour, make sure I've got it underneath. Then you just take your favorite rolling pin, and we're looking for an even texture going all the way through. All right, and what you want to do every now and then as you're rolling, it's okay to sort of work with the dough, okay, and move it around just to make sure that there's always some flour underneath the board so it's not sticking. The idea here is to make it so there's enough flour so the cookies are easy to release once you're done cutting them, all right? So it's okay, you know, this is a perfect time where you should be playing with your food, as they say, all right? So I've got it started in a rectangle, all right, and I'm just going to manipulate it. You just want to go ahead and make sure that you're getting a nice, even thickness. All right, and a good way to do that too is towards the end. It always helps to go on a diagonal, all right? And then just make sure we've got a nice even thickness. We're not trying to push too hard. Just want to really be delicate at this point. All right. You know, what I do and what a lot of recipes don't tell you, which I think is just a great chef's tip, I always keep a brush around when I'm working out with dough. And when I'm done, I just go ahead with my brush, and I just want to get any excess flour off of the top. It just makes for a prettier presentation. We just want to refine it just a little bit. Okay, and then I have a couple of different cutters here. These are fluted ring cutters, pretty easy to find, and they come in a set. You get all varieties of sizes. And then all I'm going to do You don't want to twist because we've got these nice flutes, okay, on the outside. So I'm just going to go ahead and push straight down and then lift straight up. All right, and again, you want to get as close together as you possibly can. So I'm going to cut them all first with this fluted one, then I'll go back and make the holes in the center of half. And then I've just got the smaller version, and for half of these cookies, it's going to go right in the middle. Same idea. And if it sticks, that's actually great, because then you can just remove it and then get your finger right inside and push it out. And whatever spatula you're comfortable with, okay, you can just sort of move away the pieces that you're not going to use, get under there with a spatula. And I've got a baking sheet here. I always use parchment paper. It's just sort of a reflex for me. I would suggest the same to you no matter what you're baking. Okay, and I'm just going to set them on this papered pan. Nice and easy. You know, the dough's soft, but it's going to work out. We'll get 12 on this baking sheet. I don't want to crowd them too much. So this here is the bottom. And now the top of the cookie is the one with the hole, and that's going to be the window where you'll be able to see the jam once we put them together. So we've got them laid out on the cookie sheet. I've got an oven preheated 375 degrees. I'm just going to go ahead and throw these in there about 7-8 minutes just till they're nice and golden brown. Then we'll let them cool and put them together. Okay, so the cookies are baked. We've cooled them on a rack. That's always a great idea to cool your cookies on a rack because at this point, they're very, very easy to handle. All right? So I've just got some, actually this is some homemade raspberry jam I made with my kids over the summer. So I'm just going to take a little bit of this jam, and I'm going to set it right down there. And I just want to take, you can use a little knife if you want. I like to use a spoon. And I'm just going to spread it out. I don't want to go all the way to the edge. So we've got the jelly on all the bottoms. I've got a sifter with some powdered sugar. And I've got the tops here. And I just want to take the powdered sugar. It can get a little messy. Don't be afraid. You just want to get a nice, even coating on all of the tops of your cookies. Go ahead and just place the top right on top of the jam. My recommendation is do this a little bit before you actually want to eat them. Let the jelly set just a little bit. But then once they're all set, just go ahead, put them on a nice platter. These things look completely professional. You see how easy it is. This is really a showstopper. Try it at home. Happy holidays.